Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kari, and today I'm going to be doing a big manga haul. I am so excited to show you all of the manga I've bought recently. There's so much to show you. Also, I have lots of different genres of manga. I've got horror manga, I've got shoujo manga, I've got shonen manga, a little bit of everything. So without further ado, let's jump into it. First, let's talk about Ai Yazawa, because if you don't know, Nana is my favorite manga series of all time so far. And since I love Nana so much, I've been working on growing my Ai Yazawa collection. I've been collecting everything that's been published so far in English from her, and even French. You can see some of the other Ai Yazawa works that I've gotten in my previous book haul. I'll link it down below, but as you saw in that previous book haul, I got the first 3 volumes of Neighborhood Story that were published in English, and at the end of last year, finally the 4th and final volume of Neighborhood Story in English was published, so I can finally complete the set of this. I love these editions. They're so big, and I love the color on them. I think they're absolutely beautiful. I'm really looking forward to reading this series. I've heard really good things about it, but now that I have the 4th volume, I can finally dive in, because I didn't want to start reading it until I had all of the volumes so that I could just binge it, and now I can do that. I'm really excited. And so like I said, I'm on the hunt to collect all of Ai Yazawa's works, and so I recently got both of the volumes of Last Quarter by her. These are the same size as those Neighborhood Story volumes. It's a really nice size, but there's only 2 of these. And the second one was just very recently published, so now you can have the full series. And again, I'm really looking forward to reading this, to be able to read more from Ai Yazawa, to see if I love the rest of her work as much as I love Nana. Next, I got the 3rd collector's edition of Cardcaptor Sakura. It's still under the plastic, sorry if it's shiny. I did read the first 2 volumes of this at the end of last year, and I absolutely loved it, so I wanted to buy the next volume in this series. And the reason they're wrapped in plastic is because they come with a little collector card inside, and you know, they don't want the card to fall out, which is a really nice little touch, because these volumes are pretty expensive because they are hardback and they're just really beautiful. You know, there's gold foil on the cover and everything. I can't wait to continue in this series. I'm loving Cardcaptor Sakura. I'm a big fan of magical girl manga, and you know, this is one of the classic magical girl mangas, which I guess while we're talking about Clamp with Cardcaptor Sakura, because of how much I've loved reading this work from Clamp, I was like, I need to read more Clamp. I'm obsessed with their art. It's beautiful. They have such a unique art style. I want to read more from them. I can tell that their storytelling is really good as well. And I started doing some research, and it appears that Chobits from Clamp is a really beloved series. And so I saw that these really beautiful 20th anniversary editions existed, and the 4th and final edition was just recently published. And so I ended up buying the 1st volume, the 2nd volume, the 3rd volume, and the 4th volume, which, like I said, just recently came out. And so I have all 4 volumes of this series, another series that I can binge because I have the whole thing. This is just a really beautiful collection of manga, because they're hardback books. They're a really nice size, full of Clamp's beautiful art, and I really can't wait to read this, because I know a lot of people love it, and already some of my friends are like, after you read that, you have to tell me what you think right away, because they love it so much. So yeah, these are just beautiful volumes of manga. In my last book haul, I hauled the first 4 volumes of the Apothecary Diaries, and even though I haven't started this series, I bought every other single volume that has been published. So they've published up to volume 13. Again, this is another one that was just very recently published, and now I own the entire series, even though I haven't read a single page from the Apothecary Diaries. And the reason that I felt so confident to buy the entire series, which you might be wondering, is because I've heard nothing but amazing things about this series. Everybody loves this, and also not only are people obsessed with the manga, they're obsessed with the anime also. So I'm really looking forward to binging through this whole series that's been published already. Again, they are still publishing new volumes all the time. I'm excited to have all the volumes. I can blow through them and then start watching the anime also, which everybody loves. I'm just excited to see what all the hype is about. This is such a beloved series, and I can't wait to be a part of that community that loves the Apothecary Diaries so much. And yeah, I just can't wait to read these very, very soon. And speaking of the Apothecary Diaries, they are releasing these light novels of the story. And as you can see, I bought the first volume of the light novels because I think it would be really fun that as soon as I finish reading through the manga, that I go back through and read all the light novels, because also these are currently being published. I think that they've published through the 4th volume, I want to say, but they're continuously coming out. And so I think it would just be really fun to experience both versions. So like I said, read the manga, watch the anime, and also read the light novel, because again, I'm pretty confident that I'm going to love this series, so I'm prepared. I guess while we're on the topic of buying entire series at one time, my new obsession, Dandadan. Oh my god. If you haven't watched Dandadan on Netflix, what are you doing? Watch it. It's amazing. It's beautiful visually, but also such an amazing story. So as you can see, I have the first 11 volumes of Dandadan. The 12th one was literally just published. It's in the mail to me because not too long ago, maybe like 2 months ago, I was convinced to watch the anime of Dandadan, and I didn't know what I was going to think because I know that it's a shonen manga, and you know, I'm just a shoujo girly at heart. I've never found a shonen that I really love before, but I was like, I'll give it a try, and I loved it. The anime was so good, and you know, normally shonen mangas don't have a female lead character, but Dandadan, it has a female lead character in tandem with the male lead character. Like, they're both equally the main characters, and also the storyline just isn't just a bunch of fighting and stuff. There's actually a lot of heart to the story, because basically what it's about is that Momo, the girl, she thinks that ghosts are real, and Okurun, the boy, he thinks that aliens are real, but the other one doesn't think that the other thing is real, and so they challenge each other. Like, Momo challenges Okurun to go to this really haunted place and see that ghosts are real, and then Okurun challenges Momo to go to this place where he knows that alien activity is really likely to happen for her, and basically they find out that the other thing does exist. That's not a spoiler, it's right at the beginning of the story. And so that just sets everything off into all these different like crazy situations that they get themselves into. But it's not just about these situations, but it also has, like I said, it has so much heart. And while there are a lot of like immature funny jokes, it is very mature also in like the relationships and the themes that are examined. I just really loved the anime, and as soon as it finished I was like, I need to know what happens next, because the manga is well past what is in the season 1 of the anime. And so I was like, I need to get the manga and I need to read the manga and I need to figure out what's going to happen next. And because the second season is coming out on Netflix this summer, but I'm already into what's going to happen in season 2 in the manga, and it's so good and I can't wait to see it adapted to the anime. But basically, I just want to say that if you're a shoujo girly like me at heart, I would really recommend giving Dandadan a chance. Watch a few episodes on Netflix, see what you think, and maybe you'll be as convinced as I was and had to get the entire series. And luckily this is still being published. Every couple months another volume comes out, and I'm really happy to have joined the hype train for this while it's still being published and stuff, because I'm just loving it. The next manga that I have to haul is kind of random because I was just in the US on vacation recently, and I was just strolling through the manga aisles of Barnes & Noble, and I found this series, and I was like, that's a weird name for a series. That's a choice. I wonder why they would name a series like that. And then I started reading what it was about and looking at the art, and I was like, actually, I think I might want to give that a try. And it's Colette Decides to Die. You can tell that, you know, the title decides to die. Okay. Basically what this is about is that Colette, she's an apothecary, and she's really overworked and she decides to die. She jumps in a well to try to die, and basically she ends up being an apothecary in the underworld. Like, she still ends up having to work. And so the first 2 volumes have already been published. The second one was actually just very recently published, and the third and then 4th, which is the final volume, will be published later this year. And I'll definitely be picking those up because I think the story sounds interesting. The art is really cute. I mean, look at these little kitties on the cover of this second volume. Of course, it was a risk to just pick it up off of no recommendation or nothing, just randomly on the shelf. But you know, that's really fun sometimes, is just to see something random that you've never heard of on the shelf and be like, yeah, I'm gonna try that. And that's exactly what Colette Decides to Die is going to be for me. I hope I love it. I am definitely going to be picking up those 3rd and 4th volumes when they come out later this year. In my last book haul, I talked about that I got the 1st and 2nd volumes of My Name is Shingo by Kazuo Umez. And at that time, I thought that there was only going to be a 3rd volume and that was going to be it. And so I did end up getting the 3rd volume, but then again, when I was at Barnes & Noble, I saw that there was a 4th volume, and I was like, wait a minute, I thought there was only going to be 3 volumes because I haven't started the series yet. But then I looked it up. There's going to be like 6 volumes, I think, and the 5th and 6th volumes are going to be published later this year. And so I also got the 4th volume in the US, which was just very recently published. And so now I have the first 4 volumes, and I was looking forward to starting reading this because I thought I had the full series, but now I know that I don't. I need to wait for the 5th and 6th volumes and then I can binge through this. But like I said, they will be published later this year, so then I'll be able to read through everything. But I loved The Drifting Classroom by Kazuo Umez, and I'm hoping that I love this series as much as that. And these editions are just absolutely beautiful. I love the colors. I love the metallic on them. I really hope that I love this series as much as The Drifting Classroom. Then, speaking of horror manga, manga. We can't talk about horror manga without talking about Junji Ito. I got Tombs, which is a short story collection from Junji Ito, and also Frankenstein, which is his version of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I'm in the process of collecting and reading every single Junji Ito, and so these are the newest additions to that collection. And actually this summer, Junji Ito is coming to Japan Expo, which is the biggest manga and anime convention here in France. It's in Paris, and it's really a big deal. However, the tickets to get his autograph is just random draw, which people are really upset about, including me. Like, I would pay a lot of money to be able to get his autograph, but whatever, that's how it's going to work. And I pray to the manga gods that I get selected to be able to get his autograph, because I want my copy of Uzumaki signed by Junji Ito. That would be amazing. But anyway, I'm in the process of collecting all of the Junji Itos, reading them all, and I'm really excited to, even if I don't get his autograph at Japan Expo, he's going to do a lot of conferences and stuff, and I'm going to be at every single conference that he's holding at Japan Expo. I'm so excited. I can't wait. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Junji Ito. Then I have a few additions to my Japanese manga collection. There are a few series that I am collecting the Japanese versions of, even though I don't read Japanese, but they're just collections that I have because I love these series so much. So for example, as I said, Nana is my favorite manga, so I am collecting Nana in Japanese. And so I have the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th volumes of Nana in Japanese to add to my collection. Then I'm also collecting the Sailor Moon Eternal editions in Japanese, and so I have the 9th volume to add to my collection. And so I always buy my Japanese volumes of manga at Book Off here in Paris, and my Book Off, they were having a really big sale, and they had this series from Clamp. I forget what it's called. I looked it up in English, but I don't remember, but all 4 volumes were being sold together. And as I already talked about, I love Clamp. I love the art of Clamp, so I was like, even if I can't read this, I want to look through all of the art, and I would love to have more stuff from Clamp on my shelves. So I bought these. They were really cheap. I'm happy to have them, add them to my collection. So that's all the manga that I've added to my library over the last couple of months. I'm really excited to read all of this and hopefully find some new favorite manga series. If you watch this and you kind of got the vibe for my taste in manga and you have some recommendations, definitely please let me know your recommendations in the comments. I would love to hear from you. I'm still fairly new to manga. It's only been like just under 2 years that I've been reading manga, so I would love your recommendations. Let me know all the series I need to be trying out. I would love to chat with you in the comments, but I think that that's going to do it for this video, and I'll talk to you again next time. Bye!